the best advice I would give to white people is to get the hell away from black people.
He can tell people why he moved the hell away from them.
Yeah, well, he didn't warn us 30 years ago when he moved from a white neighborhood to a whiter neighborhood.
Hey, what's up, you all? Welcome back. I am Van, and now we are all the LFR family. Thank you so much for clicking play. Please click the like button, click the like button, click the like button. That will help out tremendously. That will be amazing. Go to LFR family whenever you get a moment and ask me about the Bang Bang Tea. And if you, and when you, I'll say when you receive a response, it will be from me directly. Today, we are checking out some pretty cool information about the Scott Adams situation, but it's coming from Jimmy Dore. Now, I know a lot of you don't really mess with Jimmy Dore like that, but I just now did a video of him speaking with Patrick Bet-David on Valuetainment podcast, and it was a pretty dope conversation. But this right here specifically about Scott Adams, and you all introduced me to Jimmy Dore, so now I want to see what he has to say about the Scott Adams situation and see if his thoughts match mine.
So Rasmussen Reports did a poll, and they asked this question, is it okay to be white?
No, they said it's okay to be white.
Hold on. Do y'all see this right here? It says Black Americans only. Rasmussen did a poll, and it says it's okay to be white. They didn't ask the question. They just made the statement. It's okay to be white. And then black people was like, 53 of them was like, we agree. 26% of them was like, nah, disagree. 21% like, not sure if it's okay to be white. So that's the 47% that Scott Adams was initially talking about, but we're not going to stay right there. Let's move forward.
Do you agree or disagree?
Thank you for the correction.
Oh my God, why is he counterdicting you?
Is it okay to be wrong?
Not sure.
No, it's okay. It's okay to be white. And 53% of blacks in their Rasmussen poll agreed. First of all, kind of a freaking question is that?
Kidding.
That is, isn't that? I mean, I'm sure, like when 21% of them said not sure, I'm sure 21% were like just dicking around. Like they're like, well,
oh yeah, disagree. I think is people dicking around a lot. Like I'm speaking specifically of Sherrod right now. If this came out, we had our old podcast. Here we go. Disagree. He would just shout it. That's the funniest thing you can say.
Yes.
When he asks something is stupid.
Most black people actually said yes, it's okay to be white.
Yeah, we need to point that out. 53% of black Americans said, yo, it's okay to be white. I don't see nothing wrong with it.
21% said, I don't know.
That's what I would have said. I don't understand the question.
Yeah, probably because they didn't know what that question meant.
Again, it wasn't a question. It was a statement.
And 27% said no. So basically a tiny minority of a minority. And once you figure in for black people answering no just to be funny,
yeah,
which I respect.
It's a low number, yeah.
It's probably way less.
Yeah.
So...
Also, look at that. Black people can be racist, too.
So black people can be racist, too. 76% of black people agree with that.
Yeah. So that
27 agree. It's the same goddamn people here, right? He's mother.
Yeah. The ones that drove Scott Adams mad.
8% not sure. 20. There you go. That's right. So why do I bring this up? Because of Scott Adams.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Here we go. Treat this like a plate of fajitas because he's got a hot take coming through. Careful.
That was his joke for today's folks. I thought that was pretty cool.
Careful. It's hot.
It's coming in hot.
Here we go.
We got a hot
That is 111%.
Adams.
So if nearly half of all blacks are not okay with white people, according to this poll, not according to me, according to this poll, that's a hate group. That's a hate group. And I don't want to have anything to do with them. And I would say, based on the current way things are.
But none of the stuff that Kurt and I just said entered into his head. Like, first of all, what kind of a question is that? Second of all, I bet you a lot of black people are just being to say no, like for funny. And then about the 21% who said, I don't know, because that's such a stupid question.
That's because critical thinking in this poll will make it less funny. So, I mean, he didn't want to be critical. He wanted to make a statement. He wanted to be firm, and he wanted to I guess he wanted to go out on top. He was done doing Dilbert cartoons, and he was trying to figure out a good way to do it. And this was the way for him to do it. This is the way he got away from Dilbert, okay? And it worked for him. It's working for him, actually. Yeah, it may look like it's not working for him on the outside, but it's working, trust me, because all of the attention is coming his way. Well, oh no, because I believe that he has the right to say what he said, and based off of his own understanding, I get it, but I'm going to speak on it a little later, because you're going to be surprised at what I have to say about this here.
He
like
lumped them
none of those
together.
things. He just went boom. Half of blacks hate whites. That's not what that poll says at all.
It is according to you. He goes, not according to me. It's what
No,
the
that
poll-
is according to you.
And even if you said, okay, the poll asked that question, you got the numbers wrong. Because the majority said, oh, yes.
Yeah, the majority.
A small amount said no.
Yeah.
But you lumped in I don't knows with no.
Yes, he lumped in the not sures with the no, because the not sures are like, you know what? I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure. Because why are they not sure? If they're not sure, I'm going to put them with the nose too. That's just me. I'm sorry. I'm going to put them with the nose. Maybe that's just, listen. It's okay if I'm wrong.
That's
It's
exactly.
That's how we read info. I bet the same way.
I bet that's
how they counted deaths.
So he got wrong, and then he spent the rest of the time figuring. Even though you got it right, you're still wrong. That was his thing. And now he's doing this.
Well, you won. He said you won.
You won. Yeah, and he
this
called you
round.
anti-vaxxers.
But I'll make these points up when we get to this black stuff. Trust me.
So here
Oh,
it gets
Lord.
so. Let's just start from the top. Right.
So if nearly half of all blacks are not okay with white people,
It's not what it
according to this
says.
poll, not according to me,
No.
Not what
according
it
to
says.
this poll.
Not.
Hey, Jimmy Dore is calling this man out. This is good. This is going to make for good conversation. Y'all let me know whatever y'all want me to know in the comments, because I want to know based off of, and just listen, please, because if you haven't heard the Jimmy Dore take, it will be a much better conversation if you completely hear him out first and then decide on what stance you're going to have, because a lot of you have heard enough already. Some of you have already seen the Jimmy Dore's take, but sometimes perspective is everything. Depending on, it's not about who's giving the perspective. It's about whether or not it's making any sense, if it resonates, if they're making some valid points. That's what we want to consider. Even if you believe that Scott Adams is completely 100% true or 100% false, I need for y'all to listen to this right here, because I believe that this guy has a pretty good perspective.
That's not what the
That's
poll
a
says.
hate group.
What?
That's a hate group,
Well,
and I don't want to have it.
wait, by the way, not okay is a real loose kind of
Yes.
thing. So he goes, if they're not okay with white people, that's a hate group. Is it just not okay? I mean, let's say you're like, I don't know if I'm okay with them. Like, that's not really.
And not only, but again, it was a stupid question. Here, let's see if we can play this all the way through.
Thing to do with them. And I would say, based on the current way things are going, the best advice I would give to white people is to get the hell away from black people. Just get the fuck away.
Jeez.
Wherever you have to go, just get away. Because there's no fixing this. This can't be fixed.
What are you talking? What can't be fit? What are you talking about?
It broke his heart.
That somebody did a stupid poll with a stupid question that's meaningless, and then half the people probably responded. They didn't even know what the question meant, and then another half the people probably were joking when they.
By the way, Scott, don't worry. White people that can afford to do that do that. They don't need your advice to move away from black people.
Well, it ain't only white people. It's black people too. Trust me on that one. Because when we get a little bit of money, and there's way too much crime approaching our area. Look, if my car got broken into one too many times and I can afford to get up out of here, I'm gone. Too many daggone gunshots around the neighborhood, I'm gone. I'm out of here. You out your goddamn mind. You think I ain't gonna use my resources to get up out of here? I'm getting away, Jack. And then when it catches up to our new neighborhood, that crime and all that, we gone again. We are gone again. You know, Chris Rock says black people got to be the most racist people in the world. Why? Because they hate black people too. You know what I mean? I don't know any. Listen, y'all, let me know whatever y'all want me to know about that one right there. But it doesn't matter at this point. This is all like just their own subjective thoughts. Okay? That's what it is.
Are you kidding?
It's not like a bunch of rich white people living
I
around
think I
black.
should stay in the hood.
You know what? He makes a good point.
I don't think this can be fixed.
I'm going to go move to a neighborhood with less black people and more rich white people. Thanks for the tip, Scott.
Oh my God.
So hang on. It keeps going.
All right, this kid.
By the way, if he really feels this way, shouldn't you have expressed this through a razor-sharp Dilbert?
Sweeten the punch with a.
Doesn't everybody want to know what the creator of Dilbert feels about race relations? Hey, what does the creator of Garfield think? What? What about? Okay, here we go.
You see what I'm saying? This is why I wanted to hear his perspective, because he not only is he adding a bit of humor to it, but honestly, if you think about it, why do we want to know what Scott Adams have to say about this? This is his perspective. It resonates with some people. It resonates with a lot of people probably. But at the end of the day, it's all his perspective. Now, if you understand it to be true, then that's on you too. You don't have to apologize for it. If that's your understanding of the poll, the Rasmussen poll, and you also come to the same conclusion as Scott Adams come to, that's your business.
You just have to escape. So that's what I did. I went to a neighborhood where, I have a very low black population, because unfortunately, there's a high.
So he's saying he moved to a neighborhood with a very low black population.
Yeah, he led the charge. He's telling y'all that he did it first. That when he got tired of black people, he was gone. What's up, Lou Valentino? Shout out to you, big dog.
Apparently because of this poll.
Did he just move today?
But he moved there 30 years ago. So he's been living, according to my research, and correct me if I'm wrong, in the same place for 30 years. So apparently he's felt this way for a while. And now there's a Rasmussen poll to validate it. Finally, thank God, he can tell people why he moved the hell away from them.
Yeah, well, he didn't warn us 30 years ago when he moved from a white neighborhood to a whiter neighborhood. After growing up in a white neighborhood.
Now, I have a feeling that some of you might not be feeling this too much. Hopefully you are, because if you have a sense of humor, then you will feel this a bit. You know what I mean? I get it. Sometimes we pick sides, right? And we don't want to hear anyone talking about anything that's going to make us feel less than, or our sides feel less than, or us feel goofy for feeling like what we felt like yesterday, okay? That's not the issue here. What we want to do is open up some conversation just with a different perspective, all right? You might hear something throughout this talk with Jimmy Dore that you haven't heard before. That's what I'm aiming for.
After growing up in a white neighborhood and then living in a whiter neighborhood, he then moved to an even whiter neighborhood.
And you just do it if you have to.
Here we go.
Relation between the density. And this is according to Don Lemon, by the way.
By the way, it's now he's quoting Don Lemon, so this is going to put a rift. Really, this is tragic how this poll has put such a rift between Scott Adams and the one black people he knows.
The one black people he knows. The one black people he knows, and that just so happens to be Don Lemon's.
We go.
So here I'm just quoting Don Lemon.
I'm just quoting Don Lemon as if that's what?
Yeah. The main black?
Yeah. Everyone knows he's the black spokesperson.
I hate everything he says, but on this we agree that you got to move away from black people.
And when he notes that when he lived in a mostly black neighborhood, there were a bunch of problems that he didn't see in white neighborhoods. So even Don Lemon sees a big difference in your own quality of living based on where you live.
Check and mate.
And that has nothing to do with economics. Nothing. Nothing.
Even Don Lemon said.
Even Don Lemon said so. What?
Look at his face while he says it. It's just the most smug, like.
Yes, it's just like, this is just facts. And look
Don
how.
Lemon, he noticed that. I can't believe it.
So I think it makes no sense whatsoever as a white citizen of America to try to help black citizens anymore. It doesn't make sense. It's no longer a rational
First of all, I wish he would go into detail about his many years dedicated to black people outreach. Is he shutting down Dilbert Kids? It's like a charity that tells at-risk black youth to pull up their pants and pick up
I
the
packed
trash.
up everything. I said, pull your pants up. I got the hell out of there.
Wow. This is some stunning revelations from Scott Adams here. One, he apparently used to really be into black people before this poll. He was like the big hip-hop guy before this poll ruined black people for him. And
His
there's no fixing this. You've heard the poll.
Yeah, his heart is like a big jug of love for black people that has been shattered. You can't glue that jug back.
They are really frying my man Scott Adams. Scott Adams, listen, I didn't play this to get on your nerves, brother. But I understand why they are tearing your ass up with their comedy. This is comedy. Listen, once you put your thoughts out there on the internet, they're out there. You cannot take them back. And guess what? Other people with platforms and thoughts will put their information out there as well. They will give you their perspective, their side, their periphery, their scope. And now you have to deal with it. You cannot complain because now there's a great deal of people out there. That's the reason why they're trying to cancel Scott Adams, which I think is dumb as hell. Just the cancellation of people for simply saying what they got to say. Listen, that's dumb. Everybody's like, oh, I can't work with him anymore. Newspapers are pulling away from Dilbert now. We can't work with him. What? Come on, bro. That's dumb as hell. I think that's stupid. Regardless if this is what he says, this is the type of turmoil you should receive when you say something that's ridiculous. If the great majority of people feel like what you said was ridiculous, what we need to do is go back to the old days and just make fun of them. Make fun of them. Embarrass them enough that they will run away. Okay, you don't run away and pull your daggone. Let him still earn his keep through the newspapers. We just need to make fun of people like the old days, all right, and let them decide whether or not they want to be a part of the algorithm or the platform anymore. All right, that's what we should do rather than just pulling their jobs and pulling support and all that other craziness.
Boy, this is your loss, black people. You know how that guy from Dilbert was always helping you? Well, that party is over. Oh, what's that? You've literally never heard of Dilbert or Scott Adams? Huh, isn't that interesting, seeing as he's been helping you? Here you go.
Impulse. And so I'm gonna back off from being helpful to Black America
He's going to back off from being helpful to them.
because it doesn't seem like it pays off. Like I've been doing it all my life, and the only outcome is I get called a racist.
Wait, how did he
That's
help?
the only outcome.
Did he help him by like calling the authorities to check when they walk down the street to make sure they weren't lost? This is a low density neighborhood. Maybe he's in the wrong. I'll just call the police. And
Maybe that's how he helps black people.
Yes, there's a black people in my neighborhood. I moved to a very low density black people neighborhood. Could just check and
make sure this guy's okay. Maybe he's
I
lost.
think they call me a racist.
I've always been helping. Hey, Scott, not to rub it in, but you know who sticks by their friends way more when they get canceled? Black people. Here we go.
It makes
He even laughed at it. That was like perfect timing. That's why Jimmy Dore looked at it and pointed his thumb
no
out.
sense to help Black Americans if you're white. It's over. Don't even think it's worth trying. Totally not trying. And there we go. You didn't expect that today, did you? But those who don't want to focus on education, you just need to get away from them. Just get as much distance as you can. That's my...
So I guess he meant that black people who aren't interested in education just get away. But what about white people? You like uneducated white people? What are you talking about?
I mean, by the way, the ones not interested in education are probably also not calling for your cancellation.
Yeah,
like,
that's right.
It's a bunch of college. It's that 27% that said it's not okay to be white. That's who wants you.
Well, here, guess of course you know what happened. Everybody drops his thing, right?
Okay.
And then he writes out, Dilbert has been canceled from all newspapers, websites, calendars, and books because I gave some advice that everyone agreed with.
What the fuck?
Everyone agreed with what Scott said. Everyone. That's even more than the amount of black people who said it's not okay to be white. Everyone. And then he tweeted out, I've lost 3 careers to direct racism so far. Crocker Bank, Pacific Bell, and cartooning. All 3 were perpetrated by white people for their own gain.
Wow. All 3 were perpetrated by white people for their own gain. No black person has ever discriminated against me. That's partly why I identified as black. Partly why I identified as black for several years. What, Scott? Partly why I identify as black for several years. White people in the media are also the main source of worsening race relations. Wow. My man, he is a black man now. Get out of here.
Maybe you should stay away from people. Man, get away, far away from people.
Maybe it's you, dude.
Go to a neighborhood with no people. Maybe it's you. Did you ever think of that? No black person has ever discriminated against me. That's partly why I identified as black for several years. White people in the media are also the main source of worsening race relations, as opposed to the bang-up job you're doing into bringing the races together.
I don't want to be racist against a guy who identifies as black right now, but you should take that brain picture down from your profile.
Yeah, I would take the brain picture down.
Yeah, that's a ridiculous picture right there. You know what? Listen, I get it. They made crazy fun of my man. And I may agree with some of the things that they said, because it's all silly at the end of the day. Scott Adams was just making a statement based off of the poll that was put out there. Now, here's my thing with the polls, POLLs. Listen, we don't know how many black people said no versus black people on white people who also took the poll and they commented as no or not sure or yes. We don't know that. And how do we do these polls? See, here's the thing about the polls. I never get the polls. Like whenever somebody's calling someone and trying to poll them about whatever's who they're voting for, or something to go around, or something going along with race relations or social injustice or something like that, I'm never one to be called. What's going on with that? It's racist. That's what's going on with it. It's racist. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what I said.